Welcome to another horrid, despicable episode of the apocalypse that no one will see thanks to adjudicated criminals and censorship, where I, an orange-faced con man who's grifted billions from the US taxpayer via 1,000 scams in orange face and a diaper full of shit. Well, I could broadcast all day. But I am not that. I am someone that is unfortunately honest. Therefore, I do not belong in this world. That's for goddamn sure. A few things that struck me today. We are at a point, and Donnie is at a level of grift his entire life. He's been dreaming of this. Where even opening concentration camps is a goddamn scam to launder money. To God knows who, and I'm sure Donnie takes a nice percentage. I told you before, any construction project, anything Donald Trump is involved in, the value will be falsely inflated and people will be pocketing extra money. If there's a loan involved, if raiding the treasury's involved, for instance, to buy concentration camps. Let me just read. Trump admin paid $128.5 million for this warehouse that sold less than 2 years ago for $29 million to use as an ICE internment camp, also known as a concentration camp, literally. For you, not for illegals. Who is the owner of this warehouse? Pink S1 LLC, subsidiary of Russia-based Pink Group. Of course, here is the documentation. It appears Donnie's been involved in many real estate deals over the decades, where very far over the actual asking price or the value of the property is paid just for shits and giggles. What I'm trying to say is it's goddamn obvious fraud. The most naive day one fraud investigator could find this. Once again, everyone just lets him get away with it. But this time, he's using money from the US Treasury, just like I told you. You were being looted and dismantled. I told you if Donnie ever put his hand in the Treasury, and he would, who would bloody stop him? Who would say no? Absolutely no one. Ever. Congress is basically useless now. It's government by proclamation and raid the Treasury. And it's not bad enough that he's opening an entire concentration camp infrastructure across the United States to put American citizens in. They're not saying that yet, but don't worry, that's what they're for. I'm saying it. And what I say actually comes true. That's the difference between me and Donnie. And the Reich. Bad enough. We've got Adolf fucking Hitler in charge, and not the slightest exaggeration. Opening a literal infrastructure of concentration camps across this country. If people are being deported, why do we need that? Oh, for you. That's why we need it. dumbass. That's not evil, bad, corrupt enough. Being Adolf fucking Hitler. Literally. They've got to raid the treasury for, 4 or 5 times what all these warehouses are worth because they're funneling money to people, and Dottie, I'm sure, is taking a percentage of every deal. Every single one. So expect any construction project, any purchase, especially for property by the Reich, expect, I don't know, what is this? It goes for 30, that's what it's actually worth. And they went 130. Just add 100 to it. That's what Donnie does. That's Donnie right there. Oh my God. Add 100 to it. $60, $90, $10. It's about 4 times. A little over 4 times. That you just got robbed for. One warehouse. One. And if this steal is representative of how much he's been stealing, just add 100 to it. My God, the number must be astronomical. What Donnie has just grifted in the first year. Holy fuck. I don't even want to know the number. So an obvious money laundering fraud thing happening here. Some money goes to Russian oligarch friends at Donnie's. Because Donnie's a Russian asset. Donnie Krasnov. Trump launders a cool $100 million in U.S. taxpayer dollars directly to the Russians via new ICE concentration camp, and that's one. How many times are we going to see this story over and over again where $100 million just added to? I mean, that's what level grifters we're talking about. Add $100 million to it. Why, son? Because it's your money, dumbass. That's fucking why. Fred Wellman, they are laundering taxpayer money to their friends. This is all about money and looting our treasury. I told you that day one. You're going to get dismantled and looted. Then I was telling you as it was going on, you're being dismantled and looted. I wasn't just saying that, again, for fun or entertainment or because I want to be on here right now. Actually, I was watching a great series I would love to continue watching, and fuck the apocalypse. And, God's not showering diamonds and money down on me for this. In fact, life just gets harder every day. So what's the goddamn point? I don't really see it. But I'm still going anyway. If there's an avenue, I will walk it. Even though I really don't want to. At this point. But it's necessary. So again, looting our treasury, yep. Everyone will be crying at the end, son. There'll be a city that's erased off the map. New York, D.C., one of them. Along this ride here. Some natural disaster, probably. Or maybe a missile strike, who the fuck knows? It's described in Scripture. That the city everyone in the world does business with will be no more. And the merchants will cry. For the great city with all its fine things will be gone. We're going to have World War. We're going to have a major city, probably in the United States, disappear. We're going to have concentration camps, which we already have. Mass secret police, which we already have. Public executions, which we already have. Dystopian surveillance, which they foaming at the mouth to get going. And your treasury will be looted for every goddamn penny. Doesn't sound like a good combo. It sounds like the end of a fucking empire to me. All for one cunt's grift and the rubes that put him there. And the greedy that put him there. What a shame. It'd be so great if you people just never existed. This world could be a really wonderful place. It's a shame. That motherfucker is sending our tax dollars to Russia by laundering it through the new American concentration camps. Looks like Russian oligarchs actually own the camps. I wonder who else owns them. We are being looted and robbed. That's a good point as well. A Russian company owns that warehouse and now it's going to be a camp. So now we've got a foreign-owned concentration camp. A Russian-owned concentration camp. Like that wasn't planned. I told you you'd let a foreign force in, right? It'll go further than this. He's a goddamn traitor, and so are you. Neither of you care about the country. And you know who I'm talking to. He could give a fuck about the United States, and he proves it every day. In fact, he hates the United States for what it did to him. This is about Tom the Misery Homan. And the Reich basically on the past few days getting on camera, getting on news shows, saying in statements that they saved a bunch of children that were missing or something in Minnesota. No, they did no such thing whatsoever, not even close. It's quite the opposite, actually. Let's read the real description from Joe Walsh, who used to be a Republican. It's a lie. It's propaganda. We asked Paxos app to sum it up. He's running this app that does things to protect people from the Reich, let them know what their rights are, etc. And he has a GoFundMe, if people want to fund it. ICE did not find 3,364 missing children in Minnesota. That's a ridiculous number, too. It reeks of bullshit. It's one state, man. 3,400 fucking children. I mean, they just pull shit right out they ass and they say it out loud and no one does a goddamn thing. My God. They updated contact info. That's it. These kids were never missing. They were already in the system with pending immigration cases. ICE reconfirmed addresses and phone numbers. Oh, you mean they made a list? Is that what you're talking about? Another list. Bureaucratic housekeeping dressed up as a rescue mission. You mean making a list? And why the sudden heroic sweep? To serve paperwork, to lock in court dates, to start removal proceedings. We found 3,400 kids we can deport. That's what Tom really is saying. Not to rescue, not protection, deportation, prep. They made a list. That's a big announcement. When the Reich says, we found 3,400 missing children in that evil state of Minnesota. We just did it overnight. 3,400 overnight, son. The Reich. Reeks of bullshit before you even look into it. Nope, they made a list of kids they wanted to deport. Children. And for any cunt that wants to say things like they committed a crime, no, a lot of these people had protected status. They were refugees. Donnie took that away. So fuck you forever. And again, there's a book, Revelation. There's a lake in that book you may want to read about. It may apply. I don't know. Depending on who you are and what gospel you's preaching, son. Recommendation. Literary recommendation. Nothing more. This wasn't saving children. It was enforcement spin packaged as salvation. Yeah. It was just the right making another list. I got more info on another list they making. And I knew they've been making this one for a long time. And I told you, again, back in January before the election, this is where it would go. We'll get there in a moment. Under every rock, another pedophile, and none of them are liberals. Isn't it amazing? It's almost as if the whole right-wing thing since 1945 is complete bullshit, and it was nothing more than a white supremacist authoritarian hope of getting rid of democracy. Billionaire Tom Pritzker announced on Monday he was retiring as executive chairman of Hyatt Hotels after his association with Epstein. Chairman of Hyatt. Man, we got people in the highest levels. We got Rothschilds emailing this guy, saying weird shit. We got chairman of international chain of fucking hotels. We got second or third in commands on TV networks. We got the guy who owns the company that takes pictures of your children at schools. Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, Leon, Thale, Donnie, JD, Oz, RFK. We're at the point now where we have to ask, it's easier to just pick out, who isn't the pedophile. It takes way less time to name them. Got a Reich full of pedophiles and murderers. And 77 million and more that preach their gospel. Amazing. After all the Pizzagate and Hillary Clinton talk I watched for 20 years, financed by Russia, which all the websites, again, they all took the money. They still are. And it was the exact opposite. It was the tech bros and head of these very companies. Except Mr. Sindar, I don't see his name in the shit. I didn't look for his name. I didn't look for info about him. I'm hoping he ain't there. But all the rest, son. Gates, Zuck, Leon. The highest level people. Major industries that we all rely on for social media, stuff like that. All were taking Russian money and nefarious money to put lies in front of us. And you know who they were really working for the whole time, whether they know it or not? Satan. They were inverting reality. They were pointing at everyone else, calling them pedophiles, calling them Satanists, whilst calling themselves Christians and upright, moral people that were pro-life. Meanwhile, many in the top of this movement are pedophiles, murderers. Ain't a damn one of them Christian, my God. That's the biggest joke of all. And it's not the party all the Russian-financed companies were pointing at, were platforming people to point at. It was the very people that own those companies. Many at the top of those companies. And the Reich itself. The Republican Party. For the most part. It was the exact opposite of what was going on. Vlad of the devil, all the companies of the devil, the influencers of the devil, were inverting reality. Again, do I think they all get down on their knees and say, "Hail Satan"? No, they don't have to. You don't need to do that to be of Satan, to work for Satan, to preach his gospel, to do his business. You still have Satan, son. They all put the exact opposite of reality in front of our face. They all knew it was lies. None of them cared. They all took money from mobsters in Russia and elsewhere. And now our country's over. And they were all the pedophiles. Except for Sindar and Tim Apple. I don't think Tim Apple's in there either. All the rest of them are. This is bad, man. This is real fucking bad. And it's the exact opposite of what everyone put in front of us on social media. It's the Family Values Party who are the goddamn pedophiles. I'm hoping it's not every single one. But you know, every day we find another one under another rock. And it sure as fuck ain't liberal. They were all down with this ideology with Jeffy, this racist, let's get rid of the poor, we can create babies in a lab and make them how we want, and we'll just populate the earth that way. We'll take all the money and resources. We'll make a dystopian technocracy based on Nazism, as if it's something new. And this is what these people believe. Everyone that gets caught at the high level. All that stuff, again, Alex Jones and you fucking rubes were saying the liberals were doing and about. No, it was the exact opposite. You people were about that. Always and forever. And your GOP party, literally, we're finding a new one every day. Your top guy, Donnie, in Orange Face, he's the worst one of all. He's in the files a million fucking times. It's the closest thing to Satan himself. I guess that's why he's the Antichrist. It's the exact opposite. And Vlad of the devil and his whole machine that branches off of him, and Donnie's one of those branches. And social media is one of those branches. Every company. They all took the money. They still are. They were inverting reality, and they still are. And class, again, who did I tell you loves to invert reality? I'm talking about straight up inversion. The devil. And then his little demons like Adolf Hitler. Go-to move for Adolf. Go-to move for Vlad. Go-to move for Donnie. Donnie's an abject pedophile. Donnie's an abject criminal and murderer. Yet he points to others and calls them those things. Projection. Inversion. That's what we've been witnessing for 20 years on social media, and we still are. Inversion of reality. Here's another one. It was just revealed that Harlan Crow's brother is currently facing a lawsuit for allegedly financing a massive human trafficking ring. Harlan is the major GOP donor who showered Clarence Thomas with lavish gifts. Billionaire linked to Sarah Ferguson accused of financing sex trafficking ring. Can you fucking believe it? Well, we know now who it all was. All these top-level conservative type people. Oligarchs. I believe what Jeffy believed. Racism, get rid of the poor. Slave labor. It's all these type people. And the reason I'm saying that, listing what they believe, is because none of that is liberal ideology. Concentration camps aren't liberal ideology. They're right-wing nationalist ideology. Getting rid of the poor is not liberal ideology. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Authoritarianism is not liberal ideology. Democracy is liberal ideology. Socialism, where the profits are shared, where we don't just socialize the investment to get it started or when some billionaire needs a loan. Welfare. Where the poor actually get the benefit of socialism as well. That's also liberal ideology. But socialism and authoritarianism don't go hand in hand. That's what capitalists, who are also socialists taking handouts left and right, want you to think. Hitler was not a socialist. He was a fascist who started off as a right-wing nationalist. That's it. Here's another one. Harlan Crow's brother. So that means, what's Harlan about? What's he into? It's just his brother? No, it's not. These are the highest people. This is insane how many of them have been exposed. Of course, none of them will be arrested, though. But I can't believe the names we're seeing. These are huge people. And a damn one of them liberal either. That's amazing, isn't it, son? Ted Lieu, recognize, and that's Mr. Lieu to you. The Department of Justice has confirmed that there were over 1,000 victims of Epstein's pedophilia sex trafficking operation. Countries around the world, such as France, are taking action against the perpetrators. Except in America, AG Pam Bondi has not held a single man accountable. French police raid multiple locations in Epstein criminal probe, including Arab World Institute. That happened today, I believe. So the French are raiding motherfuckers over the Epstein stuff. And again, it would be crazy if the French somehow got the full set of files and just released them all. Oh my God, it'd be like nuclear fucking war if all those names came out. Because again, there's still emails that say things like, I enjoy the torture video, or the 9-year-old, or the 11-year-old, and we don't know those names yet. Well, we know the torture one. That name did come out, I think, is the Suleyem Sultan guy that just stepped down from his job. There's a lot of emails with some straight vile shit where the name's blacked out and we don't know yet. If we see those where 1-year-olds are discussed, 9-year-olds are discussed, 11-year-olds are discussed, and then we see what they haven't even released yet, we see, son, it'll go into worlds you ain't ready to see. All right, this map, this is brilliant. Whoever made this, and the person that made this point is brilliant. And this is such a great illustration for where the Reich wants to take you, and Mr. Starmer and others in Europe want to take us because they're going to go along with the Reich. I really wonder, do they have dirt on Mr. Starmer? He doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why he's going along with this. But again, Britain and the U.S. have kind of always walked hand in hand through all this bullshit. World affairs, world events, the empire, all of it. So what they wanted to do in the United Kingdom, what Starmer and his party want to do, measures to clamp down on internet usage, including a VPN ban for children. That's where it'll start. And a VPN, I believe it stands for Virtual Personal Network, and it's a security feature that people use so you can't get their like location, who they are, and their real IP and all that. I believe that's what it's for. And I believe, a lot of nefarious entities from other countries that want to influence people in other countries on social media, they would use that. But it's also a legit security feature for the average person to use. For their own safety, their own protection. Mr. Starmer wants to make it illegal for children. That's the doorway to make it illegal for everyone. It's a surveillance move, and everyone knows it. I don't like what Mr. Starmer's doing. I don't understand why he's going along with the Reich again, although Britain has always gone along with us. In the modern era. So this person's making the point, and it's a brilliant fucking point. This is the club that Keir Starmer wants us to join by restricting VPN. VPNs are illegal in Belarus, Iraq, North Korea, Turkmenistan. VPN use is restricted in China, Iran, Oman, Russia, Turkey, UAE. Now look at it on the map. That's the entire world. Notice the area in red. Russia, China, very nefarious European countries, and a few Middle Eastern ones. We know what those areas of the world look like. We know their citizens have zero rights, no workers' rights, no environmental protections, fucking nothing. They live up in straight up dictatorships. So when you wonder what the plan is, or maybe I should put it this way, do you get it yet? Do you see what they want to turn us all into? And by us all, I mean Europe and America. They want to turn us into Russia and China. That's the plan. Slave labor, which is even worse than Russia and China, actually, but they have slave labor too. Anyone that gets arrested. And they're straight up dictatorships. You cannot critique the Reich in Russia, the Reich in China. That's your ass. You a dead man. People go out windows. They disappear in both places. You have zero rights in China. You have zero rights in Russia. Let's just stay on those two countries. The rest of them are the same thing. North Korea, same thing. Do you get it? We got the Reich asking for lists of people online that are critiquing the Reich. Literally. We got the VPN moves and the attempts for digital IDs and things in the UK. They walk in hand with the US and a surveillance state. They both given Thale money. He is the surveillance state. Financed by your welfare, of course. Always and forever. Who else has these measures? Russia, China, North Korea, etc. They have these measures. So what does the U.S. Reich and the United Kingdom Reich, since they walk in hand, what do they want to turn us into, class? China and Russia. I know. You thought the liberals were going to do it. I know. That's because you're stupid. I knew that was all bullshit from day one. Pizzagate too. Anyone who preached it, gone from my face. Never watched him again. One more time, look at this map. That's what the United Kingdom government currently wants to turn you into in the United Kingdom. And that's what the American Reich, those countries over there that you're looking at in red. I don't know about you traitors out there that voted for this. I don't want to be Russia or China. You think shit's bad now? But it's too late. We're on the course, and we will. Be it in many ways we already are. Great illustration, though, to show you all where this is going, what they want to turn us into. The Barry Weiss hire, who appears in the Epstein files 1,800 times, wrote in a 2016 email, "I go into JE withdrawal when I don't see him." Peter Attia appears to be staying at CBS News despite Epstein. So he's a recent new hire, high level, way up there, and he all over the Epstein. So another pedo, way up at the top. Get a good look. Epstein emailing William Riley, a private investigator and former Florida police officer, about Virginia Giuffre. Before I call Trump with regard to Virginia, are there any other alternatives? And I think we know what Jeff means by alternatives. I think we all know what he means. Again, traitors out there, a vote for Donnie was a vote for Mr. Epstein. You understand that, and his sex trafficking ring, right? Because Donnie was the sex trafficking ring. He lived it. Zorro Ranch, I didn't know this about Zorro. It's got a little pitchfork on the bottom of the Z, you know, just to get that Satan in there. That's probably really what the Z is, too. It's an S for Satan. I'm not kidding. I did not know that had that. People can say it's a pagan symbol, too, a trident. The devil's been depicted with the trident or pitchfork for, you know, how many eons. But it's really, again, it's a trident of, what's the god? Apollo? The fake, non-existent, probably fallen angel that people worship as a god. Or just didn't exist at all. Zorro Ranch. The Z is embellished with a devil's pitchfork, a trident, the demonic tool used to torment souls in hell. Don Huffiness was the patsy used to purchase the property and seal Epstein's burial grounds from excavation. What was the political trade-off? Right, someone had to come in. I thought about this today. Someone had to come in and buy this because there are bodies buried there, and there are things that are there that people cannot see. So someone in the know, someone who could be trusted to keep it quiet and not let people start digging bodies up, had to buy it. When you see the picture of Mr. Huffiness, who is a member of the Republican Party, by the way, running for office in Texas, a more local position, comptroller or something. When you look at him, it's written all over him, son. All over him. It's obvious what he is. And he's the guy they all turned to when Jeff was gone. Someone's got to take possession of this and make sure no one goes snooping around. Mr. Huffiness, that's who they picked. That's who did it. That's who's doing the deed. Can you imagine? being the guy that says, well, he's probably a pedophile too. I haven't seen the evidence against him, but him buying the ranch and the way he looks, oh my God. Again, it's just written all over him that he's into little children. I hope I'm wrong about you, sir. I really do. But I don't know, when I look at your face, I can see it. And you bought the ranch, the notorious pedophile ranch, and you don't let no cops investigate. So that tells me all I need to know about you. But I have a feeling we're going to find out some stuff about you, sir. Now that you're world famous. For buying the pedophile ranch. Where allegedly there was kids born that were never documented anywhere. Alleged women having pregnancy after pregnancy. And I am sure there are bodies on that property. If there were not bodies on that property, well, they would have welcomed the cops in with open arms. This guy obviously was the one the group of pedophiles trusted. Maybe they all gave him the money to buy it. Just put it in your name. I'm going to put it in my wife's name. So I'm a coward. And it's kind of written all over me already. So if my name's on this deed, it's going to look real bad. I'll make my wife do it. She's used to covering for pedos, right? I bet she is. Unbelievable, man. One more time. He's the guy they trusted to buy this thing. Keep an eye on it. Make sure no one goes snooping around. Can you imagine being that guy? And it's got a pitchfork on that Z, which really stands for Satan. I'm not kidding. I don't want it to. I don't want him to be into that. I don't want to sound like Alex Jones. It's our sad reality. It's our sad truth. Unfortunately. When Jesus was in the desert, and he had no food, allegedly for 40 days, of course, the devil there was trying to tempt him. If you just bow down and worship me, I'll give you the whole world. Dominion, power, the whole world. Why did the devil say that? Was he lying? No. That's direct evidence in Scripture of God's intention to allow the devil to run this place. How many people over time, this phrase, that make a deal with the devil, this phrase came into the human lexicon. People have done it. And they've gotten success for a while. Until it's time to pay. With their body and soul. Forever. The end. That concept, making a deal with the devil, and it didn't just get into the human lexicon, it's a real thing that people have done. Some have admitted it. That concept is in Scripture. What was the devil basically saying to Jesus? Make a deal with me, worship me. That's all I'm looking for. I want to be God. Worship me as God. And I'll give you the whole world, man. Why? Because he was Jesus Christ. You get the Messiah to worship you, the devil you've won, you know? But Christ was perfect. There wasn't no way he's going to worship the devil. The only perfect soul that ever walked this earth. Sinless. That's what I mean by perfect. What does that piece of Scripture tell us? It tells us the devil's in charge. The devil always wins here. The devil can give you the whole world if he wants to. You ain't the Christ, though. He's trying to give it to his Antichrist right now. But the devil really would be running it, like he always has. So the devil's utopia, since he runs this place, and this is his big chance, surveillance state, concentration camps, extermination, Nazism. Globally and futuristic. A futuristic version of Nazism. That's what the devil likes. And I noticed, from studying history, I said the devil attached himself to white supremacy specifically in the modern age. And it's fucking obvious. That's his shit. That's his doorway. That's his army. The white supremacists. Across the world. So the devil had the power to give Jesus dominion. Give him the whole world. So that concept is very true, and it's backed up by scripture, that the devil has dominion here. And he can give power to who he wants. And my God, look who he's given power to. A pedophile under every damn rock. And they ain't liberals. They're the elect. They are financially successful, wealthy, in charge, evil as fuck, Satanists, and pedophiles. That's who he gives power to in his big moment. Now. Department of Homeland Security requests Google, Reddit, Instagram, and Facebook to provide names, phone numbers, and other identifying information of users who criticize ICE. In other words, dissidents and enemies of the Reich. Just like Adolf, same thing. Making lists. What was that other list they were making? What was that? I can't remember. Oh, the list of children they're going to kidnap in the middle of the night. Masked men. And traumatize for the rest of their life and deport them back to wherever. Once they got settled here. Amazing. They really like making lists. They wanted a list of Jews at a certain college. A list of autistic people. Remember that big scandal? What you want that for, Adolf? What do you want the list of Jews for, Adolf? You don't mind if I call you Adolf, do you? What do you want people's people's information for, their account info, when they just simply critique the Reich and mass murderers sent out to murder us by the Reich? We're somehow wrong for talking shit on that online, right, Satan? Right, Adolf? Right, fat fucking orange face in a shitty diaper? Destined to goddamn burn? No, you are the evil. You are the Satan. And here we are again for the 90th time where some list is being made. And I told you people, if you do anything online, you say something, you're in a protest, you are on a list now. And it's real this time. This ain't Alex Jones again. This was all over the internet today. Everyone was talking about this. This is real. It's a thing, and every company gave it to them. I'd bet my life on it. Already. This isn't something that's going to happen in the future. It already fucking happened. Kidding me? So Reich and all these companies have given him millions of dollars in just straight tribute and bribes. You think they're going to give him this info? They know the plan. They've all been invited to the White House several fucking times. Every social media head. They all know where this is going, and they're helping it get there. So of course they gave up the info. Google, Reddit, Instagram, Facebook. Of course they did. The fact is that the government wants it. It's the problem for me. Just I'm making another list of dissidents. I told you, there's going to be roundups. They're going to arrest liberals in government. All the shit Adolf did. And Adolf loved making lists too. Now he can go straight up to these companies that he owns because they've all laid millions of dollars right at his feet. They will do anything he wants. So he might as well own the companies. Go to any of these social media companies, get all of our info if we talk shit on the Reich, and I knew we'd get here. We're here. Amazing. I'm sure Google and the rest will protect the community, right, guys? And won't turn the info over? Of course you will. You serve Satan and work for mobsters and work with mobsters. And pedophiles. And murderers. You work, you give tribute. You allow their bots, their trolls to harass me and others. To lie about me and others. Work directly with all that. You're working with it again. Now you're working with the devil and the pedophiles. Amazing. Amazing. Two of your are pedos, Zuck and Leon, that own social media. This is incredible to watch play out. My God. So assume every company gave up your info if you've talked any shit on the Reich. But I always knew we would get here. I knew as I talked over the years, I knew my name would be on a list. I'm not stupid. And these people have now shown us that they straight up Nazis. And that they all about making lists. So just keep in mind what you say online will be given over by all of these companies if it's critical of the Reich. So you make the determination whether you want to take that risk or not. Oh, hey, I've heard about this before. Not quite sure where exactly, but somewhere, I'm sure. Department of Homeland Security demands Google, Reddit, Meta, Discord hand over personal data of users criticizing ICE. No, they mean criticizing the Reich. In its totality, not just ICE. And we all know it. And here's the quote from, I guess, a newspaper way back in the day. You ready? A law of 20 December 1934 went even further and applied the death penalty to aggravated cases of hateful statements about leading figures in the Nazi Party or the state. Another law made malicious gossip illegal, including spreading rumors about the regime or making derogatory remarks about its leaders. In other words, you critique the Reich, you die or get arrested. Hitler did it, and it sounds eerily similar to what they're about to do to us. You can't critique the fascist ideology. That's evil. You can't critique the pedophiles and the murderers in the Reich. You can't critique the mass murderers that shoot women in the face and men in the back. That's evil. No, that's inversion, son, again. The Nazis literally made it illegal to critique the Reich. You do not critique the Reich in Russia either. You do not critique the Reich in China. That's where they've taken us. Exactly what I just read to you. That's what Donnie, Levitt, and all of them are doing as they soften us up every day, saying what we're saying is wrong. Meanwhile, they're all murderers and pedophiles, and they send mass murderers out to kill us. Inversion. And we go in here. What I just read to you, we go in here. I told you. Dissent would be illegal. critique of the Reich would eventually be illegal. I told you that. That's called fascism. Enjoy. And thank you for your attention in this matter. I just talked about this recently, how Europe was going to go around all the major American tech companies like Google. And they're doing it. And Google getting scared. Google criticizes Europe's plan to adopt free software. Yeah, I bet they did. Google is criticizing the European Union's intentions to achieve digital sovereignty through open source software. In other words, going around Google. We don't need you no more. Get the fuck out. I told you they were going to do that. Not just Google, all of them. Because they're going to be at war with us. And they know it. And they know Google will help the American Reich and Russia. And not them. So they're about to go around all this shit. And Google about to lose a shit fuck ton of money. The company warned that Brussels' policies aimed at reducing dependence on American tech companies could harm competitiveness. No, it would harm Google. Google doesn't like competition. That's why they got adjudicated criminals for running a monopoly, monopolistic practices. They don't like competition. So this is highly ironic here when you got gavelled down a monopolist. Now you're talking, it might stifle competition. You don't care about fucking competition. You care about owning the world and your portfolio. Every one of you top executives and Sundar himself. And you obviously care about defaming guys like me, left and right, and working with the mob. According to Google, the idea of replacing current tools with open source would not contribute to economic growth. For them. Everyone else, fuck you. God, it's so transparently desperate and pathetic. Please don't take these billions of dollars that Europe we grift from Europe as we turn over all your info. And you foreigners, you understand. Google, Meta, they all have your foreign information as well. You people go on those websites every day. You think they ain't giving that to the Reich, son? Right after they give all our shit? Do you think Donnie and Miss Noam and the Reich told the companies, you know what? All those foreign dissidents in France and UK, and we don't need those. We just want the American ones. Do you think they said that, son? No, they didn't say that. They asked for your shit too. And they'll get your shit too. They already have. I guarantee it. I know these cunts at Google, boy. We've had an intimate relationship for 10 years. How do I know that? After they shut me down for the 90th time, and I'm talking to 40 people, because that's all they allow. It's where they like me. One day I learned, it just came across my desk. I wasn't looking for it. That they got adjudicated a criminal for monopolistic practices. The day after that, they put another strike on the channel they wouldn't even let me use. They threw a tantrum, son. About a guy whose career they ruined, defamed, almost got murdered, got him to where he's talking to 20 people on a channel that doesn't get circulated, which was the whole point. And then they throw a tantrum, son. And put another strike on my channel the next morning after I talked about them being adjudicated a criminal the day before. Son, I told you. How's that saying go? Whatever Trump touches dies. You people are about to lose a shit ton of money. I told you. Tried to warn you. Vlad got you for 100 million, that is. Europe about to get you. If only you didn't take that Russian money and ruin guys like me and promote guys like Tim Pool. Maybe you'd still have your business in 7 years. You won't. Don't worry. Rep. Tim Burchett, this is just kind of surprising. I know there's Satanism, literal Satanism involved in what these people are doing. But you don't know that. You're probably still back in Alex Jones' world where Hillary Clinton's a Satanist witch who eats children. No, that was you, son. That was these people. That's also really surprising to me. I didn't realize how deeply and broadly this ideology went through the GOP and people across the world that are in charge. Business leaders, etc., Rothschilds, etc. They all down with this shit. This shit comes straight from the devil, and people are starting to say it. Rep. Tim Burchett says satanic reports from Epstein files will shock the world. That's a politician saying that. A representative. Not a conspiracy theorist on YouTube. This is a random commenter. If bringing down a satanic child sex trafficking ring will collapse the world as we know it, then the world as we know it needs to collapse. Exactly. And that's a great way to put it. Because these pedophiles got in charge, because you endorsed them, because you enabled their behavior for years and you let them get away with everything because they were of you. The world as we know it is going to collapse. And as more and more names come out, and this shit gets more vile and vile to things I can't even say out loud that people have done, and their names get tied to that, you will see crazy world events in response. These people will lose their mind. They will start wars. They will do the craziest shit you can think of because it will drive them insane. They will have to react to their name being associated, again, with acts I can't describe. Satanic acts. In other words, the mask gets ripped off. The facade of successful businessman or woman or Rothschild or this or that gets completely ripped off, where you are exposed as a straight up Satanist pedophile. There is nothing lower. There is nothing more evil. Their psyches cannot handle it. And they've been hiding it forever. They will lose their mind, and a lot of them are. It will be bad. So it's interesting that this person calls it a satanic child sex trafficking ring. And if they're all exposed, it will collapse the world as we know. Oh, you mean the pedophiles won't be in charge anymore and they'll all go to prison? Well, that sounds great to me. But that's not going to happen. Like I said, these people are going to freak out, and they will maintain power regardless. And they're going to take us all away. This is Satan's big moment, Donnie's big moment, the Reichs, Thales, Leons, the Nazis, the white supremacists, the devil, the Antichrist. This is their moment, and they are seizing it. And no one's going to stop it until the man stops it. Don't take the mark, and have a wonderful evening.